The choices we make, no matter how small, can put us on a path to greatness, or lead us down a road to ruin. The choice to define your own path. To be who you want to be.
Help us! We don't have to die.
The choice to be compassionate.
Please!
Let them go.
What?
You're no god.
To love.
Or to hate. Peace.
Or war.
To strike from the shadows. Or attack in the fields of battle.
In this world, there are no wrong paths, no wrong decisions, only who you choose to become. This is your Odyssey.
We are ready, my king.
Tell me, Venekis, have you ever gone fishing with your son?
No, never. A soldier's life is all I've had the honor to know.
I would have liked to have gone fishing with my son. But now... let us meet our fate, shall we? Spartans! Every breath that you have taken has led you to this moment. Every drop of blood, sweat, and tear, all of it has led to where you stand right now. The Persians come to make slaves of us all. I have a better idea. I say we drench the gods with their blood! What say you, Spartans? For our sons! For our daughters! For Sparta!
We are betrayed, my king. Xerxes knows of the path behind the mountain. They are coming.
By dawn, you will be completely surrounded.
We are Spartans. When are we not?
Spartans. That word will mean nothing when Xerxes wipes your bloodline from the face.
Today was a day the Persians will never forget. Tomorrow is a day the world will remember.
It's late game content, right? So you'll see at the top right-hand corner, there's that 50. That means we're level 50.
Okay.
That's late in the game, and we're gonna come across somebody in need of help.
All right. So we're definitely, you know, a mercenary who's maybe feeling themselves a little bit at this point. We're pretty strong, right?
Oh yeah, we're doing good. We've got the Adressia, our boat.
Okay.
And it should be pretty decked out at this point, and as well as our gear. If you look, he's looking pretty regal there.
Oh yeah. So you're definitely not starting off looking this way, right?
No, you basically start off with a pair of sandals and your underwear, and then hopefully you get better from there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things too that I've seen about Odyssey is that as you level up, your outfit is going to change, but it's not just cosmetic this time, right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. We have an entire progression system built around, picking up new gear, dismantling it, engraving it, so you can upgrade your gear to make it for bonuses like damage, extra damage, or being impervious to certain other types of damage. And so you'll customize your arms, your chest, your legs, and your helmet with stuff you'll find on the battlefield, stuff you'll find at the end of a quest line. We have entire setups that are you have to have all 5 pieces in order to be able to unlock these bonuses. The possibilities are endless. The permutations in terms of how many different kinds of looks you could have is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it just adds another hook to keep us playing. In the end, there's now a loot grind in Assassin's Creed.
There's always a little bit more that you could go get.
Yeah.
But
so we're jumping in. We see this mob going on here. What's happening?
Sure, you can see that in the back there. You have that quest giver icon. So this person probably needs a little bit of help, but they're in trouble. So you kind of want to interact with them in order to get their story before doing anything drastic. Let's say.
Snake, what's going on? We will bring this evil creature to justice.
They're lost in paranoia. They think I sacrificed my Ligia to the creature in the forest.
Hold your forked tongue. This walking curse is in league with the writhing dread.
She just looks scared to me.
Please, the creature took Ligia. If I die here, who will save her?
I'll save Ligia and kill any creature that tries to stop me.
What are you saying? She will lead you to the petrified temple, and you're doomed.
So we're getting a preview here of all the dialogue options available.
Yeah. We have a bunch of dialogue options sometimes that are just about getting more information. You want to get to know somebody. You want to find out what their motivations are. You want to find out where they're going to take me. All sorts of normal curiosity questions you would ask somebody you're trying to help out.
Yeah.
And they're not always catastrophic choices where somebody lives and somebody dies. You want to have that range, right?
I love that too because Assassin's Creed has always told such awesome, rich stories and presented so many cool, unique characters. It's nice to be able to inquire more about them if I want to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a quest director at UB Quebec, and building these stories that revolve around characters and the kind of troubles they have and how their daily existence affects their lives basically, and how they could need the help of a mercenary is something that was super interesting to us. It's just what is that nitty gritty of that person's reality?
Yeah. So we saw that cinematic, that conversation scene. We've now jumped into some combat because it looked like these soldiers were going to execute a helpless woman.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to interrupt them from doing something very nasty and help the lady at the same time.
Yeah. So we just saw an amazing ability. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Abilities are something that we've really put a lot of work into. We want players to be able to customize their experience, and we want them, when they fight, to be able to be aggressive. So we have an entire tree of abilities that you can unlock that will give you different kind of powers during combat. So you can have more passive things like increased health, but you could also have a lot more aggressive abilities like everybody's seen the Sparta kick at this point, right?
So satisfying.
I know, it's so cool. It never gets old. There's the shield break is great as well. There's a bunch of stuff you can invest your ability points in that'll give you bonuses across the board.
So we dispatched of the soldiers.
Yeah, so she can talk. Basically, her lover is in trouble right now.
Yeah, we tease a little something that we know there's a creature in the forest, something called the Writhing Dread.
The Writhing Dread, yeah.
But it's a price worth paying.
I polished Charon's drachmi long ago, Mystios. I'm ready.
You know, I don't want to call you forever.
It's I love these little moments where you're kind of like, hey, I don't even know your name.
Yeah.
Tell me your name. And
I just killed a whole bunch of soldiers for you. Introduce yourself.
Then let's not disappoint her. Where was she taken?
I love Alexios' voice too.
He's good at voice acting. The actress who does Cassandra does an excellent job as well.
They're both amazing. Yeah, we saw that Cassandra trailer. Now we're doing the Alexios gameplay.
Both of them Greek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I'm noticing too, I've never been to Greece myself. When I picture it, this isn't necessarily what it looks like. What type of environmental diversity does Greece have?
It's amazing. It has snowy mountaintops, like where your feet are sinking into the snow, all the way down to like that tropical paradise type of stuff. Like in our E3 demo, what we were showcasing was like we call them biomes, right? So the palm trees and the beautiful, the lush vegetation, that type of thing. And now for this demo, we're moving towards what we've called our autumn biome, or it's a deciduous. I always have trouble pronouncing it, but it's a type of tree biome. And this is what we're kind of showcasing. So you see the colors have shifted a little bit away from the green, more towards the yellow, the red, that type of thing.
Yeah.
The horse is obviously back. This is not Phobos. You just kind of randomly picked him up, but you can call him at any point, any time.
And Phobos is your own horse.
Yeah. At the beginning of the game, there's a moment where we'll show you a bunch of horses, and we're like, all right, which one is this? The one you're gonna have for the rest of your playthrough.
Oh.
You pick him, and then he'll always come to you.
So it's similar to your eagle, right? Like where you have.
Yeah, sure.
Last year we had Senu. This time
we have Icarus.
Icarus.
So Icarus is partnered up with Alexios. We do go into it in the story about how that works, but we haven't been spoiling it just yet.
Yeah. So we follow this woman, Brees, into what looks like this village or town that looks like it's been through some troubled times.
Yeah, she has a little love nest there with her partner, but if you look in the background, you can see things are just getting really dark and gritty.
This place is ours.
It's very foreboding.
Yeah.
A forbidden place for forbidden love.
Not much of a love nest. I've seen more romantic funerals.
I found scraps of her clothes leading to the Writhing Dread's lair. Please.
That's not a direction I would want to go in personally.
No. I think I would turn away from something called the Writhing Dread.
It's funny because there's a little bit further away. You're not going to walk into it with your horse, but if you do, there's a point where your horse just nopes out. This place is so creepy. I'm not going in there.
Sometimes animals are smarter than humans. So we saw there too that there's always something worth exploring, worth seeing. That you never know where you're going to find some hidden treasure in this.
The world is just filled to the brim. There are, I think it's over 600 points of interest. So we call them points of interest. There are places in the world that have a certain gameplay challenge and a gameplay reward. So it may be just taking out a few bandits in order for a couple of bucks, or it could be something like climbing a statue, getting that reach high point, and being able to fast travel. I mean, there are so many in the world. It's really impressive.
And you're gonna make me clear them all out.
You know what?
That's the kind of player I am. I'm obsessive.
I am so OCD about that type of stuff. When I play these types of games, I am absolutely the same. I have to have everything. I have to have 100%. I have to make sure that I have touched and prodded every little thing in the game.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of basically every Assassin's Creed, but especially Origins, just going in and clearing out all the map because there's so many awesome little stories hidden throughout the world.
That's the thing with the points of interest, right? They've all been modeled around like, sometimes they're little myths, sometimes they're stories, sometimes they're just like, what is a hairdresser in ancient Greece do type thing. And there's always that little connection into the world, right? It's not just free gameplay for the sake of gameplay. It's always like, how does this actually tie into ancient Greece?
Yeah. So we see here we're wandering into what looks like a fairly desolate place.
Yeah, this is the lair of the Writhing Dread.
Yeah.
This is all the this is a huge collaboration. Like the actual island of Lesbos is built by a collaboration between the Singapore and the Chengdu studio from China.
What is this place?
And you'll see a little bit further the gameplay that we've actually built inside this temple comes from Romania. And you know, we at the Quebec City studio who are kind of overseeing all this kind of give the directions, make sure that everybody's still going in the right directions.
Yeah.
It's a huge collaborative effort. Now this is clear. I mean, this basically here gives it away.
Yeah,
Where we're going,
have a
where we're headed.
strong tease of where we're going.
It destroys all living things.
Some very lifelike statues, I'll say that.
And leaving them frozen in fear for all eternity.
I love too just the sense of, you know, even the air is still here, right? That there's these flecks
like
just
the
floating,
ash
yeah.
kind of floating in, like some
Absolutely.
things don't live here, they die here.
Yes.
I had at the beginning of this, like a couple of years ago when we were talking about Medusa and what did we want to do with them, I always had in my vision of things, I always had this guy would come down from the village into Medusa's lair during the night and grab one of those poor soldiers who was frozen, bring him back in his cart, take it back and say, hey, look what I sculpted during the night, and try to get some money out. The ideal never got in the game, but I was.
It makes you think twice about those hyper-realistic sculptures.
Yeah. Oh God. I was just thought it was that missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
We need to get inside, but I see no openings, and the walls are too smooth.
So, you know, we were talking a bit earlier. I got a background in architecture, and I got to say, this doesn't really look like Greek architecture to me.
This comes out of, I'm going to say, the lore, right?
Yeah.
Just because there is a huge part of the Assassin's Creed universe that is unique to it, that whole kind of sci-fi aspect.
Yeah.
And I think I've already said too much.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, we are continuing Layla's story in the present day inside of Odyssey. And this, and I'm not going to tell you how, is tied into that.
Ah, okay. So we won't reveal too much.
No. We've already spoiled so much stuff, but it's great because there's so much content in the game that there's still tons of stuff left.
Oh no, you can't spoil this game. There's too many possible paths and routes you can take. You know, you mentioned too this is a continuation of Layla's story when we saw her, you know, in Assassin's Creed Origins. The thing I love about this game is that it is simultaneously a prequel and a sequel, right? That you're continuing Layla's story, but doing it 400 years before.
It's the ultimate prequel, right?
Yeah.
It's before even the existence of the Assassins and the Templars, as they've been come to know. And I was talking to somebody on the floor earlier. I was like, well, you have to look at it. It's kind of like the NFL, right? So the NFL exists. It's got all its teams. People play football. But did people play football before the NFL? Well, of course they did.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like philosophies outlast the names of organizations. You know what I mean?
I love that. That's a really great analogy.
Did you see the creature yourself?
No, but only the riding dread would be strong enough to take Lygia. She's too fierce. And too stubborn.
You said Lygia knew how to get into the lair. Where exactly is the key?
The daughters of Artemis hide their most prized possessions in a cave.
So we have this idea that this creature has taken Lygia, that she's behind this door, and we need to go save her, but we can't get through it.
We have see, this is one of the most amazing things for me that happened during production was this specific key. So you need a disc. Stephanie is the historian is gonna kill me because I can't remember the name of it, but it actually exists. It's something that they have in a museum, and it actually predates our story by something like 10 or 12,000 years.
Wow.
It's this artifact that they found with engravings that they can't decipher, and we were able to integrate it into the game and pose it as this key to the layer of, I'm going to say, the writhing dread.
Yes.
Right?
So yeah, we got sort of our setup here that we need the key, and now you know, we're back on our ship, the Adrestia. Are we going to find the key?
So we're going to a neighboring island, which is just a little bit west of Lesbos, on that small island called Chios, where in theory the key is located. The great thing about Chios is that it's populated mostly by what we call a micro-faction. So I'm going to take a couple steps back. We have the two main factions of the game, right? The Spartans and the Athenians constantly vying for control of territory. But inside of that, I mean, they aren't the only ones who live here, right? We have other factions that are alive inside our world. We have the Daughters of Artemis that we're going to meet in just a few moments. They're a group of hunters and huntresses who are focused on nature. We have the followers of Artemis, these kind of cult-like zealots they're quite aggressive and they're very mean. They're fun to kill. We have the cult of Cosmos that we're going to hunt down. Their soldiers roam the world as well, and bandits as well. So the island of Chios that we're going to is really populated by these daughters of Artemis, who happen to also be kind of your gateway to the legendary animals. So there are animals all over the world, but a few of them are special, shall we say?
Yeah.
So hunting them down and bringing them back is something that's another part of the story, completely optional, I might add, but that you can go ahead and do in the world.
Yeah, I think what we're also seeing some ship sailing here. The water is absolutely gorgeous. I love these zoomed out shots.
It's crazy, isn't it? Oh my God, the team is so proud of what they've accomplished with it.
Oh, they should be, yeah. The thing I love about the Daughters of Artemis too is that it kind of frames that this is a world that's still very much guided by religion and belief in these deities. Artemis obviously being a Greek deity.
This period has people believing all sorts of things. Some don't believe in deities at all. Some believe in the diversity of beliefs is really impressive. And even inside specific beliefs, they'll have different stories for different deities. And it's actually really difficult to keep track of, but it makes it super fun to tie them into the quests. So you talk to somebody whose personal beliefs are about this particular god, and you can weave a whole story just about him or her and their beliefs and how they affect their lives. It's a tremendous amount of fun.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of blue-sailed ships here. Who are these?
So the blue sails represent the Athenians. So Chios right now is controlled by Athens, I'm assuming, because usually the blue ships mean that are allowed to swim there, to sail there when you control the nation. But so Spartans have their ships too that protect their territories.
Yeah.
We also on the waters we also have merchant ships and pirate ships. If you start shooting on merchant ships, well then you'll gain the attention of mercenaries who'll come after you and punish you for being a very naughty Spartan.
Yeah, because obviously in this story, you're a mercenary yourself, but you also can get tracked down by mercenaries.
The mercenary system is a huge system inside the game, and it's basically law enforcement, right? So you will commit an act, a bad act, I would have to say, like you kill somebody in front of other people, kill a civilian, maybe steal something.
Yeah. You're not going to get desynchronized this time.
No,
around.
You don't get desynchronized. People get mad at you.
Yeah.
They get mad at you. They put money on your head, and they go, "Oh, all right, this guy just he killed my 3 goats, and then he ransacked my treasure or whatever." So now, so a mercenary inside the world is going to grab that bounty. He's going to come after you. And we actually have a ladder system where these mercenaries exist in the world at all times. They're not just they don't spawn when they need to be spawned. They're always there, and they come hunting after you. So you can either pay for your bounty, so you can directly pay money to the sponsor. It's kind of like a hush money type thing.
Yeah.
Or you can do the head-to-head with that mercenary, and sometimes they're going to be pretty powerful. But when they're powerful and the challenge is there, then the rewards are there too.
Yeah. And for the first time too, that killing the people that are coming after you isn't your only option, right?
No, not always. The mercenaries make it really tough to talk to them.
Okay.
There are a lot of instances in the game where, you can, as opposed to, taking the violent method, and personally as a gamer, this is what I've always tried to do, is just is there a way we can talk this out?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll give you a couple of bucks if maybe we can negotiate, or maybe I'll help you out. I'll find something that your daughter needs or whatever, and then we can go our own separate ways without any bloodshed. For me, as a gamer, those are the moments that I like the best.
Yeah.
So you're coming up. See, this is a huntress camp right here, and the key is hidden in the back. We saw just a few minutes ago. The place is packed, and they're not going to take very kindly to you coming in there and stealing their stuff.
Yeah. So we just saw there that we scouted out with Icaros.
Icarus, yeah.
And now we waited until nighttime to attack this camp.
Yeah. So it makes more sense, right, to attack stealthily during the night.
Oh yeah.
So meditation allows you to wait half the day and just switch it over. So we have we have an entire ability tree that's dedicated just to being an assassin. So this is where you can put ability points to do more damage when you sneak up behind somebody, or when you get to those last tiers of skills, you can actually be you can purchase like the chameleon skill, which allows you to be invisible for a short time. There's a lot of stuff that caters specifically to this type of gameplay.
Yeah. So yeah,
that was an amazing ability. I love that one.
Yeah.
You throw your spear and you just come right up to it and pull it out of the person, and you're moving. You can move through the environment by using this ability. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is so cool. And we saw in the lower left-hand corner there. What are those? Like, are those the abilities we have?
So you have so many abilities that you can't use them all at once. You can only use 4 at a time. So you map them to the face buttons, and then you can hold left bumper and you hit your face buttons depending on which one you want to call.
And are these able to be used endlessly? How do you mitigate?
You'll see at the bottom of the screen, there's the adrenaline meter. So we were talking about fighting earlier. We put the players in a situation where they'll tend to be more aggressive, right? We give them reasons to attack. Those attacks will generate adrenaline and make them allow them to spend the adrenaline to use their abilities. So it's like this vicious loop of aggression, where the more I'm aggressive, the more I have adrenaline, the more I use my abilities, the more I'm making adrenaline, etc., etc. That's what we were going for. Just in terms of the overall feeling of combat for Odyssey, we wanted to make sure that you were the instigator.
Yeah, there's the awesome loop of, okay, I need to fight so I can build up the adrenaline, so I can use an ability, and then sort of go back and forth between your strategies.
Yeah, and you get that Sparta kick out.
Oh God. Yeah. It's funny too. I know that the geographic topography of Greece adds a lot of verticality to this game.
Yes.
Which makes it so satisfying to Spartan kick people off of cliffs.
There are so many places where you can do it, and when you get it just right, I'm telling you, there's no feeling like it. The first time, it must have been a couple of years ago when I joined the team, and I finally got to start playing around with this, and I got my first Spartan kick right off a cliff. It's so you'll scream out loud.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
So we've acquired the key, and we're now returning to Greece in this petrified forest.
Exactly, and we're going to open that door and find out what's hiding behind it. But you can't forget that Breeze is there because the love of her life is in trouble.
Oh, yes.
Exactly. The mercenary carried this spear, which she claims killed the Rhine Dread.
No, the creature took Lygia.
So we only we saw one path of getting into this temple, going to the Daughters of Artemis and acquiring this key, but that's not the only way that we could have gone about this quest, right?
I think, to pick up the disc, you had to go through the camp.
Okay, you have to go through, but I know there's an option to talk to someone maybe who claims to have defeated.
You know what? I didn't play it that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've always played it that way.
No, that's so fun. No, it's great because I played it both ways. I wanted to investigate.
How did you play it?
So you're presented this option of hey, there's this mercenary who claims to have killed the Writhing Dread. Go talk to him, see how he did it, what's going on. If he really killed it, why is it still taking people? And so you go talk to him. I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's one way to go about it. And then if you want to do both, you can still you can talk to him. You can go to the Daughters of Artemis. You could do it in any order you want to.
I see. I'm going to need that second playthrough because just in terms of quests in the game, I think we went past 300.
Wow.
There are and there's so much content. I'd be lying if I told you that I was able to play every version of every quest that's in the game. There aren't enough hours in the day.
Yeah, this is just one of those quests, and we already see how much variability it has.
Yeah.
So we're inside of this petrified temple now, finally.
Oh yeah, that's creepy stuff.
Oh yeah, gosh. I see why the horse doesn't want to come in.
The floating ash gets me every time. It's just ugh.
Oh yeah. I mean, we were speaking about environmental diversity before. This feels like unlike anything that we've seen thus far.
Not something that we're going to be reusing anywhere else. I mean, this is really unique to this portion of the game. It's all handcrafted. It's all custom made. And the funny thing is, it's optional. You don't even have to do this. It's endgame content, and it's not recycled. It's all unique stuff. There's no game over to this game. It just keeps going. It just always keeps going.
And this is something that you could do even after you finished a main campaign.
Oh yeah, you can jump into this quest line at any time you want, given that you have the right level. But There she is.
Oh, here we go.
There she is.
The writhing dread.
If you hadn't figured it out yet, it's Medusa.
Why does it always have to be snakes, right?
That's a great one. Boy.
Oof.
That's going to leave a mark. Yeah. The entire fight with Medusa was built by the Bucharest studio.
Wow, shout out to Ubisoft Bucharest.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a fantastic job.
So, walk us through this fight a little bit. What sort of abilities does Medusa have? It looks like she's trying to stare her gaze down at us.
So she has the classic gaze, right? If you stay in it too long, you'll turn. You can see the character slowing down right now. She also has the ability to call the souls that she's already. One of the funny things is you'll see that when she does call the additional soldiers, they all have names. Right?
Oh, right. So
these are all like soldiers that came into her lair and were I was gonna say eaten up, but we're like destroyed by her. But they still carry their names when they come attack you, playing her bidding. Yeah, and she has these great area of effects that you have to dodge out of the way as well.
Yeah.
And then find that one opportunity when she gives you that opening.
So here we're using an adrenaline attack, is that it? Or what is this exactly?
That's probably just additional damage. Yeah, she's not going to let you do that for long.
You can see, I mean, we've put quite a few hits on her already, and she's still got quite a bit of health left.
Yeah, yeah. She's absolutely one of the toughest fights in the game. Like it is end content.
Yeah.
We don't want this to be easy anyway, right?
No, you're not doing this as a level 1 Spartan mercenary,
absolutely not.
in sandals and rags. Oof.
Yeah,
laid down some good damage there.
It teleports away.
So yeah,
calling those soldiers. See, those are the ones. They all have their own names.
Oh gosh.
I thought that was a great touch.
Stephanos the Builder.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, you gotta.
Always on the verge of turning to stone there.
I gotta say that looks like a very useful ability though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he's got it tuned way up high. Because each of the abilities that we have has different levels that you keep investing in, keep making sure that it gets more and more damage, more and more powerful. He is clearly maxed out.
Yeah, so not only can you unlock the ability, you can level it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And these abilities all come from one of the weapons he's got, right? Which is
No, the abilities are independent from the weapons, but the weapons will give you the opportunities to engrave them and do additional damage as well.
Okay.
So depending on whatever, if you want to use a sword, a dagger, a heavy weapon, a blunt weapon, whatever, all of those can be upgraded and they can be engraved. So like if you want to do fire damage with your giant hammer, then you can do that and you can focus on getting that type of damage.
So we just saw it there again. He's. Alexios holds up a spear, right? What spear is that?
So the spear is a connection to the first civilization. It is the spear of Leonidas.
Okay.
It belonged to his grandfather who fought the Battle of Priam. I'm not going to say any more about that.
Okay.
And it is now in your possession. And it does give him combat powers that a normal man might not have.
Okay. That's how you get those area of effects.
Yeah,
attack.
exactly. This area effect, the spear is the key to everything. There, you can, depending on if you go on, if you fall into the cultist hunting. So we have an entire organization of conspiracy theorists that you can hunt down, and they each carry a little shard that you can accumulate and then bring to a forge and upgrade the actual spear itself, so it does more damage and it does, and it's just more powerful.
Very cool.
Yep.
We're getting to the end of this fight.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Ooh, that looked painful.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh, so we just, it looks like Alexios just used another ability to heal himself up a little bit.
Oh yeah, that one, it becomes essential when you're doing high damage stuff like this. The player is actually doing a really good job. That combo was amazing.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of a second wind in a tough fight like this.
One more hit and she's gone.
Yeah, as we've been watching this too, I'm just appreciating how much you have to navigate the space while you're fighting off these stone soldiers attacking you while using the columns to avoid her gaze.
Yeah, they're staples of Assassin's Creed. You can't do just fight, you can't do just navigation. It's always better when you can mix everything up together.
So yeah, we did it.
Throwing as many challenges as you can to the player is always the best. And here's kind of, I was surprised that we actually made this public, but I really was. This type of stuff we keep secret for people they can discover on their own. But if you know the lore, if you know the license, that's something special.
So yeah, as always, you know, Assassin's Creed's got some pieces of Eden in the background.
Yeah, we're not neglecting that.
Yeah, the spear is not the only thing. Which, you know, helps explain a little bit of these mythological figures and beings.
Absolutely. You know, everything that we do has to be based in a rational world. It has to be based, it makes sense inside of the lore of the universe that we build. We don't just throw around stuff because it's cool. It has to make sense. So yeah.
Everywhere in the world, at any point, you can use your ship and go in the water, you can swim, dive, you can go on land, come back. It's always there, it's always on the map.
The game is called Odyssey, and of course we're modeling ourselves on the voyage of Odysseus, and you're exploring the Aegean Sea. It doesn't take place at the same time, but it's the same experience that we're trying to give to the player. And naval is a huge important part of that.
Also, the map is huge, I mean, really big. The sea needs to be seamless because this time it's open everywhere around you. So we had to do a lot of tech on that, making sure that the shorelines where you could see like the waves coming and dying on the beaches. You have a lot of big waves when you go far away in the ocean. We also make sure that you see all those kind of fishes and stuff like that you can see from your ship and when you're swimming.
The naval combat in Odyssey is something more fast-paced, more close range. It's more intense than ever. The fact that we have people shooting javelins and arrows make us put the ship closer together so you can see the action.
What we discovered in the end was that mobility was a key factor of making a fun experience for the player. So in fact, the boat has a very high acceleration. You're able to turn really fast, you're able to move really fast. You may see a boat about to ram you, and then like within a couple seconds you can sort of dodge out of the way because of the mobility of the ship.
Some ship were shooting fire ammunition to burn the other ship. The most important tactic was the ramming and the cleavings.
Yeah, and of course cleaving a ship is advantageous to the player because it's going to give him more life, more resources. So you're always looking for that opportunity to cleave a ship, not only for the spectacular nature of it, but also as a gameplay, it benefits the player.
During those times, the ship was able to board and kill the remaining crew.
And after that, loot the treasure on the ship because there's a bunch of chests. The bigger the ship is, the bigger the rewards are. So every time you sunk a ship, in fact, there's like chests that are being released in the ocean. You can dive and try to hunt them. It's pretty interesting. And if you go too far in the water, you might encounter some sharks also, so it's pretty hard to kill.
There's definitely going to be some unique ships on the water, some unique challenges. When you first encounter these ships, if you're a low level, you're going to learn to run away quickly.
As you get stronger, your ship is going to get stronger. But beyond that, there's upgrades that you're going to need to apply to your ship. So upgrading the arrows, the javelins, how much ramming damage it can do, how many lieutenants you can have on the ship, how strong the hull is, if you can shoot fire with your arrows or javelins. So there's a lot of upgrades to the ship that will make it more powerful.
Well, mercenaries will come after you on sea, and it's a cool moment because they have awesome looking ships, they have unique figureheads, unique masts. When the player gets into combat with these guys, you could also board them. And so you can fight the mercenary like hand to hand on the deck of his ship, and hopefully you can even Sparta kick him off the deck. And this is like a way cooler moment to take out a mercenary in the game.
They can also customize the ship how they want in terms of who they want to recruit and the perks they will want to have on the ship, so to create a synergy between upgrades and perks to build the way they want to play.
You can recruit lieutenants from people in the world, be they individual weak archer, or if you want to find the best mercenary in the world, you can go knock that person out, pay them, convince them to join your crew,
I want you to be with me when I do.
They can be coming from missions, or you can also choose to find ones that have like good perks. They're going to give you more weapons, they're going to give you better armors, they're going to give also like crazy perks on your ship, like boosting speed and having more stamina. So they're changing almost every kind of parts of your boat, in fact. So every one of them is very different.
And then when you buy a certain ability, you can call them into combat for you. And either create a distraction, or you can go join them in the fight.
Courageously, their destiny.
So the sea shanties, we have a couple at the beginning of the game that are available, and the more you progress in the game, you will unlock some sea shanties that will be about your Odyssey.
So you're born in Sparta, your player character is born in Sparta, but you move out of Sparta at an early age. So your combat style is not a true Spartan phalanx with the shield and the spear. You're fighting on your own. You're fighting for your money. You're fighting for your life all the time. So your combat is very active, very dynamic. So that meant that we wanted to give them these awesome abilities, these brand new 30+ amazing abilities that can all be upgraded. And then you're going to choose of those 30 abilities, where do you want them? What power do you want them to be? And how are you going to mix and match them in combat? So the base combat is based on Assassin's Creed Origins. It's the same sort of hitbox-based distance, timing. But then we've added all the abilities. We focused on mobility. You're much more active and dynamic, dodging and parrying instead of sort of turtling with a shield.
Without the shield doesn't mean that you don't have the defensive option, actually. We have the parry that is fairly generous. Compared to a block, what it does is it's creating you an opportunity to take back on the offense.
If you want to sneak around, put the hood on, you know, it can hide in the bushes and, you know, lure people in and use some of the abilities that are stealth, you can do that a lot more than we've done since Syndicate.
Because of your DNA, because of the spear being an artifact of the first civilization, you combine those two things and you get just really, really impressive game-changing abilities for range, for shooting your bow, for the melee combat, and then for assassination as well. You have to build up adrenaline, energy for the spear to use that and unleash these abilities. So you have to use your base combat to build up the adrenaline, and then you unleash spear abilities.
So regardless of how you choose to map the abilities, which weapon you want to wield, you will always have a strong aesthetic that's true for a Greek hero warrior.
We have 2 weapon slots, the bow, you have 5 gear slots on your character. All of those can be upgraded at the blacksmith to your current level. You're the only character in ancient Greece that has a first civilization artifact, but there are mercenaries, there are very strong enemies with the Spartans and the Athenians that you're going to face that will challenge you constantly. And with the RPG progression, you're going to be facing against enemies that have a higher level than you. It's really going to be up to you how you play.
With Assassin's Creed going into like a fully fledged open world RPG, we knew that choice was the next logical step for us. We were like, hey, choice is our thing. It's the philosophy that's flowing through all of the creation of the game, and that extends to being able to choose your character. It extends to naval and how you're going to customize your ship, how you're going to play with your ship, who you're going to recruit for your ship. And then you can make a choice about the way you're going to approach quests. It had to be everywhere or nowhere at all in terms of how we were looking at making things.
So yes, the narrative will lead to different conclusions, but if you go off the beaten path, you will be surprised and you will have to make choices, sometimes dire, sometimes not. So yes, we want to give that autonomy to the player.
You can choose if you're going to help the Athenians dominate the Greek world or the Spartans, and you can change your choice in that playthrough as well.
We wanted to approach the combat in a way that gave the player more options, more customization, more ability to have choice in the way that they approach every combat situation. So that meant that we wanted to give them these awesome abilities, these brand new 30+ amazing abilities that can all be upgraded.
If I want to shoot people with bow and arrows and specialize in that, you can do it. If you feel that it's more like melee fighting, you can do it as well. And if you feel that it's a little bit more stealth that I would like to do, and get the drop on them, that's all available for you as well. So
very poetic for someone covered in blood. I like it.
The romancing, we have a handful of characters that we can romance. They don't necessarily intertwine with the bigger picture, so they're much more regional content stories, or a little bit more for fun.
When we set out to make the story in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we knew that we were going to have multiple endings. Now, for us, it meant making a series of choices through a series of quests that would impact the ending, and not just be multiple endings based on one decision you make at the end, which sometimes other games fall prey to. Just because you're making choices doesn't mean that you're going to be cut off from half the game for making these choices. You're simply going to have your own unique experience.
Something that I really like about our game is the variation of tones.
I never thought Poseidon's anger would be too much for the mighty Cassandra's stomach.
You can be a little bit more of a traditional compassionate hero, but you can also call people on their bullshit in the game. Somebody's coming to you with a much more down-to-earth, easy quest, like somebody stole my vase or something. So your character can say, dude, who do I look like? Like somebody's gonna get, vases, I'm destroying armies, Well, when the player feels that he can say that, we try to put that in the word of the character as a choice as well. So, dude, the fuck I look like, so that you can get that a little bit more in the game. You can't do it every time, but, how do I feel about saying something here? We tried to mimic that and then have the characters react.
Cassandra, what do you think we should do?
Player choice is a motivator. It connects you with what you're doing. The game is talking to me and I need to respond to that. So the player choices are felt in dialogues, but they're also felt in the world. So in the play style that I'm going to choose in the game, the mix and matching of the abilities, who I want to interact with, Sparta, Athens, what do I want to do as a player? You decide and it's your choice to do it.
Yes, that's Medusa. And no, you can't romance her. She's a little too focused on growing her statue collection, and she thinks you'd be a perfect addition. Good thing you're the baddest fighter in all of Greece by the time you meet her, because who wants to end their Odyssey encased in stone? Come on, walk it off, because that's just the start of what she can do. She'll keep you guessing by zipping around her lair at superhuman speeds, tripping you up with energy blasts from the sky, and summoning stone warriors while protected by a force field. And if that doesn't work, she's also real good at just stabbing you. Medusa and her monstrous ilk aren't something you'll just stumble into like a bear in a cave. These fights are reserved for high-level players, and they go far beyond what you'll face while wandering the countryside or sailing the Mediterranean. Finding them takes more legwork than just tracking down a creature's lair and putting a spear through its face, and you'll probably have to go through some misguided human foes before you even get there. For example, in Medusa's case, the quest begins in Erissos, a little village on the island of Lesbos, where an angry mob is getting ready to push a woman off a cliff.
She must face justice.
The villagers are convinced the woman, whose name is Brice, sacrificed her lover, Legia, to something called the Writhing Dread. The mob wants an execution, not justice, so right away we're showing them who's boss by kicking a few soldiers off the cliff. Brice's innocence doesn't mean the monster isn't real, of course. Legia's trail leads away from the village and into the heart of a twisting, petrified forest filled with eerily lifelike statues. And snakes. So many snakes. At the heart of it all is, yep, that's a first civilization ruin, all right. Artifacts left behind by humanity's hyper-advanced precursors are always causing supernatural trouble in Assassin's Creed, meaning the Writhing Dread is likely something they left behind. Getting inside the temple takes a little doing, though. The key is hidden in a village of warrior women on the nearby island of Chios, and before you head over there, you might want to stop and talk to a retired mercenary who claims to have vanquished the creature before. In keeping with Odyssey's new navigation system, you'll be given a few clues to where they are, but actually finding them takes some exploration. Every step of this journey has the potential to explode into conflict. The mercenary won't reveal anything too useful or give up his Gorgon-slaying spear without a fight, and the warrior women turn out to be extremely hostile to outsiders. They also shoot fire arrows that can annihilate your health in seconds even if your level is maxed out. And when you combine that with their pet wolves and bears, a stealthy approach will probably get better results than a head-on assault. On the way to either destination, you might find yourself testing your luck in the trap-filled Tomb of Orpheus, or daring to investigate why a boat that sits abandoned in a bay is surrounded by blood. Oh, it's this guy. You could burn a few storehouses to destabilize the local tyrant, hunt deer in the hills, indulge in a little piracy, or cross swords with some masked creeps in a cave. The open world of Odyssey is full of cool discoveries, beautiful vistas, and secret treasures, so taking the long route can be rewarding. Also, given that this demo was with a level 50 character, we had a chance to try out high-end abilities like ghost arrows, which can go through solid objects to land perfect headshots, and how did we ever survive without them? Once it's time to venture into the heart of the mystery and confront the Queen of Snakes, you'll find a powerful foe who wants nothing more than to turn you into another statue for her collection. Keep clear of her laser-like stone gaze, and you might survive long enough to send Medusa to Hades. You can start on the path to challenging Medusa, along with just about every mercenary and villain in ancient Greece, on October 5th when Assassin's Creed Odyssey launches on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. To find out more, subscribe to this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
Such a beautiful island.
Ah, Mykonos Island, built from the corpses of giants slain by the legendary Iraklis.
Read me the note again.
Eagle-bearing Mystios, that's you. We are a small but fierce group of rebels who'd pay you handsomely to help us overthrow our Athenian oppressors. A warrior named Diocles fights with them. None who face him survive. Please, Mystios, our people are dying. Signed, Kira.
What did your informant tell you?
Word has already spread of you sinking those ships. There's a price on your head.
Whew, that didn't take long.
There's also word of Spartans landing on Mykonos.
So, I'm here to find Kira, who wants me to kill Diocles.
An Athenian ally.
Who's at war with Sparta.
And don't forget the bounty!
Business as usual, then.
Gods protect you, Cassandra.
Thanks, Varnavas. But they'll be too busy protecting Diocles from me.
We've been spotted! Go! I'll handle this!
Fight them for all you're worth! Hela. Mercenary. This can't be good. You're chasing your own death, mercenary!
You won't escape me!
You want my head? Come and take it!
You can't defeat me!
You really should have left me alone. Varnavas was right. Spartans have made themselves right at home. I'm looking for Kira.
What do you want with her?
Ha! The mercenary who bears the eagle of Zeus. You got my message.
It said something about paying me handsomely.
Huh. Mercenaries.
Athenians have enslaved our people for too long. Help us free Mykonos from their grasp, and you'll have more drachmi than you can carry.
I'm here to kill Diocles, not go to war.
Which is why I sent word of our rebellion to you and Sparta.
My men are ferocious in a ground assault, but we're outnumbered.
And Diocles fights with the fury of Ares.
Join us in battle. If you're half the warrior Kira says you are, we'll grind these Athenians into dust.
All right, Spartan. I'll fight with you. But Diocles is mine.
To battle then.
How can a child save us all if he's sentenced to die? Tell me, Nikolaos. Tell me before you let our son go.
Where we begin does not define who we will become. Before you, I see a path. Built by friendship and family, love and loss, war and bloodshed.
You were sent by the gods to protect this world.
You carry the blade of Leonidas. Act like it. As you write your Odyssey across the mountains and the seas, remember, the fate of Greece journeys with you.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Watch the official gameplay walkthrough.